This week, we thought we would take the concept behind Monday Masterclass one step further. And instead of taking a practical look at a subject or issue that concerns WordPress web builders, this Monday Masterclass, we're taking you, the viewers, behind the scenes for an up-close and personal look at how our top designers approach and solve real issues. So this week we're going to be talking about choosing a font, how to choose a font. What is it about a font that makes that specific font better than all others for a certain design? And to help us with that, we have our very own Hadass Goldzaka, one of our lead designers here at Elementor. And she's going to tell us and talk us through her thought process that she uses and she used when she chose a certain font for her design on Elementor's Showcase Madness. Now, for me, fonts, and I'm sure for many others, fonts are a bit of a weakness. There are so many of them. I have like hundreds on my system or on the cloud, and it's like going into an ice cream parlor. There's so many flavors, but you can only choose one, and it has to be the best. And you can only have that one because you can't fit into your shirts as it is, Simon. So, but that aside, so walk us through it. You've got a design. Where do you start thinking about the font? Where does it start to enter the design process?
Okay, so this year we decided to go on a Mondrian thing, the abstract art that is so famous about. And so we decided to go on abstract shapes. So I started looking for a font that is like, kind of look like the shape that we already had. You can see the circles, you can see the squares, the triangles. So I searched for something that has these pointy, sharp angles or curly, like you can see in the D here or the S's, that continue the idea that we aim to. That was the main point here. So I started looking for something that is on the Mondrian theme, and I had tons of fonts that I picked. Like, I don't know, I think it was like 50. And then I start like eliminate it.
You're eliminating, so it's a process of elimination.
Yeah. So I start looking at the shapes and the curves, the weight, the space between the lines, if you can read it, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Minor thing.
Yeah.
All those stuff that you need to see in a font. And then I decided on one font, and that's the consequence.
One of the interesting things that I notice is when you talk about curls and curves, you're not necessarily talking about what we're used to seeing in some fonts where we like all those nice little twirls of a line. You're actually talking, it's much more geometric is what you're using.
Yeah.
And
in this example.
Yeah. And I also think that you've got this boldness, like the bold shapes of the Mondrian designs. You did mention something that's very interesting about readability, which is very important, because sometimes a font can look great, but when you're dealing with many people around the world, not everyone is, a native English speaker. You have to be careful with fonts that, are very squiggly and they look nice, but they're not as readable for most people.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble like that sometimes?
Yeah, I have. How I deal with it is to keep like 3 people that some of them are native speakers and some of them are like some other language. And let them read it. Okay. If they can read it, it's fine.
It's a cool idea, actually. It's a good idea. Yeah. So you got your font. Where does it start working with the design? You start dealing with it once you've kind of got a wireframe? Where do you start dealing with the font?
Actually, it goes together with the design. I have this idea. So we're starting with an idea. So this year it was a Mondrian theme, and we start making a mood board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just take images, text, whatever that connects to the idea, and then start searching for the line that you wanna build. Okay. In this case, we had the basic line of the wireframe that we want to show the websites. We know that we have text there, we have headlines, so we have the basic wireframe that we want to choose. Okay. But then we have the design that connects to it. Then the mood boards goes in.
Do you always use a mood board? Like, say, for instance, for lack of time, you've got a very short schedule. Do you still fit that in? Always?
Yeah, always. I think it's like the basic for design. If you want something to be really inspired and you want to be something else, not copying something that you saw already. Sorry. So yeah, mood board is a really easy and good way to start, because then you have tons of ideas just from images or text or even just like doodling stuff.
Okay. All right, so that's great. So you got your font, and you've decided on it, and it looks great in the wireframe. You design whatever you use if you're using Sketch, and then what? What do you do next? What's the next thing you do?
So the next step will be to upload it to Elementor. Let me show how we get it done. There, I'm going to Elementor, then to Custom Fonts. I'm clicking Add New, giving it a name. Let's say New Font.
Yeah.
And I'm adding a variation. So we have different kinds of files here. I'm going to choose the TTF file.
Okay.
Upload. And I'm going to upload the library. I have 3 fonts here.
Just drag and drop
Just drag and drop.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the light. Select. And here I can choose the weight and the style.
Yeah.
So in the weight I'm going to choose 100. This is the light version. And style normal. And add another variation. Again, picking the font that I want. I'm going to choose the Regal this time. The weight will be normal and style normal. And another one for the bold. Upload the black version.
Yeah.
And changing it to bold. And at the end, I'm going to publish it.
Okay. Now, all these variations, they don't fit into Elementor the way that you would have heading 1, 2, and 3, or paragraph or things like that. These are variations that you can use within those. Okay.
Yeah, I'm picking the variations. I can also choose, like, instead of 100, I can choose whatever I want, and this is how we chose.
Yeah. What's great about it is you've got the example of Elementor is making that line there. Yeah, and you've got the example of what the text would look like with that specific variation.
You can see it here also in the regular and in the bold version. Okay, so I have the fonts. I'm going to Pages. I have a page with the Monday Masterclass font. I'm going to edit with Elementor. Okay, so you can see here the font that we already have. I'm going to change it. I'm going to click on the Edit button.
Yeah.
Going to Style, and under Style on Typography,
Yeah.
I'm going to choose the family under Custom Font. I can see the font that I already
appears.
uploaded. Yeah. And here you can see it, and I can change the size. I can change the weight. I have the bold, and I have the lightweight. I can change the line height. Or the letter spacing.
So you still got Elementor's basic attributes for typography: style, transform, weight,
everything
size.
works the same, and you have the font that you uploaded yourself.
Okay, so here's a question. You've got, you're able to create variations, but you're also able to change those variations once you're in Elementor editor. Why would you do that? Why would you not just upload the font as it is, and then instead of having the variations, what do you get from the variations? Is it saving you time? Is it what's it doing?
That's the way Elementor works, because you need to pick the perfect weight for the font, because this is how Google rates it.
Ah, okay.
So you have the H1, H2, whatever. It's a different weight, so you can change it as you upload it. So that's the main.
So this way it stays the way that you want it rather than the way that Google wants it.
I'm choosing it.
Yeah, okay. So that's great. So, okay, so say for instance you've got all of this done. What do you do with the rest of the content? You've got, that's the heading. What do you do with all the text and things like that? Do you borrow that and then change it? Do you create a new variation? What's your method?
It depends on the page, actually. In this example, I had only the headlines changed. So we have the regular font for the body text.
And so it's just the default, yeah.
Just the default that we picked, of course. And then only the headlines. That's the one that I changed. Like, let's change it again. So I change it to bold, for example, and that's the only thing that we changed here. But it gave it a character.
Yeah.
So it's a minor thing that gives so much difference. So it's really meaningful.
I think, like, just from changing that now, you're already somehow sort of connecting between this page, this example of the page, and taking it out of the the feel of the Mondrian design that you've got there, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
You can see it here also. This is without the change.
Yeah.
You can see the difference between them.
Yeah, cool. So, okay, do you rely on certain fonts? Do you go into a bank? Do you go to websites? Where do you get these fonts? What's your library? Where do you go?
Okay, so I think I'm going to recommend, first of all, to go to Google or Typekit.
Okay.
Because these are approved fonts that typographers saw and approved them. So
For Google?
For Google and Typekit.
Okay.
For Adobe. Yeah, so these are like the first thing I'm going to check because I know they're good and the lines will be fine and there's not going to be any trouble with the browsers and whatever, and the weight will be fine, performances, whatever. But there are also all kinds of websites that you can choose marvelous fonts, like, I don't know, Font Squirrel, 1001 font, whatever. There's tons of fonts. You can just search it in Google. But then you need to check the performances and you need to check the weight and you need to check everything. So when you go to a company that already did that for you, so it's easier for you to pick. Because you just pick it and place it. That's it. You don't need to check everything.
Yeah.
But if you go to a company that doesn't have an approval from typographers, it's a little bit risky, I guess. But I'm not gonna eliminate it.
Okay. But say, for instance, I can totally understand that. I mean, it's a great tip. I mean, when you think about it, to rely on fonts that both Google and Adobe have already vetted and they use themselves, and they'll be perfect for the platforms that we use. Speaking of tips, this will be a fantastic moment to ask you, someone who's been doing this for a lot longer than I have. So what advice or tips would you give people when they set out to decide on fonts?
Okay, first of all, mood board again.
Okay.
Choose 3 words that describe the idea or the emotion that you want to pass it on to your users. That will be the main points that you wanna search for the mood board. Let's say that I wanna pass happiness and childhood and I don't know, joyful, whatever. So I'm not gonna pick
Ice cream.
ice cream. Yeah.
Ice cream, yeah.
So I'm not gonna pick probably, I don't know, active grotesque, that it's thin and really high-techy kind of font. I'm probably gonna choose something that's a little bit more happy, maybe a little bit more circle kind of font, something that's a bit more childish. There's some things that we can imagine if I'm saying a word. Because if I'm saying ice cream, for example, you have a specific idea of an ice cream. It's not something that it's square, right?
Okay.
Something that it's circle. It's the same for fonts. Basically the same.
So I like that. You're taking attributes of a font the same way you take an attribute of an element, an icon or something like that, and you're looking at it from a graphic point of view. I would say even geometric. You know, is it circular? Is it round? Is it
not always? Like
no?
if I'm saying I don't know, a woman versus a man, for example. A man will be usually okay. Something that's a bit more square. Okay, and a woman have curves. So it's something that it's not graphic, it's not geometric, but it's an idea. It's a vision that you can see. Okay, like a plant.
Okay, yeah. What do you use to make these mood boards? Do you use things like Pinterest, things like that? What do you use?
Yeah, you can use everything. You can use Pinterest, you can use Dribbble, you can use just Google. Google Images will be perfect for that. Behance also, it's a good place. But I think also the world, you know, just go around, see places, look for images. Even Instagram will be a good idea for that.
And you just like start up a folder, just plot,
Yeah, just put a folder with just throw stuff in it. Put it on, I don't know, in a PowerPoint, whatever, just like simple thing, and see what you can see there. It'll be really easy there.
That's cool. Okay, so is there any more advice or tips you want to share? I mean, we don't want to share all of the secrets, but yeah.
No, I think just have fun. Like if it's something that's hard and you don't have fun with it, so it's not worth it. I mean, I guess you're in the wrong way.
Yeah, I suppose it's a very good point. But speaking of having fun, where does your intuition come into this? Like, how much of the intuition plays into it?
It's something that goes with the years, you know, because I think in the beginning I wasn't that good in picking fonts because I know it's a really difficult area and people are scared of it, and it's okay. I can understand it. I was scared. But if you're trying to do it one time after the other, then you start being good at it. Just it. Just like that. It's like bicycles.
Is there anywhere you can recommend someone can start learning how to pick fonts better?
You can search for Google. In Google, you can see font pairing. You can read about the font as well. There's a lot of places that show something according to the font. Like they're showing a font and say this is a font that is good for, I don't know, high tech, whatever. So you can see it according to an images. Like you can put an image of a high tech something and put the font on it and see if it fits. So that's it.
That's actually a good idea. We'll put a link to that in the show notes of this video. So first of all, thank you very, very much, and great work with the Showcase Madness. We've had a lot of people talking about that, and it's really, really good. So Hadass, thank you very, very much, and we look forward to seeing you again on the Masterclass sometime.
Thank you.
This week, we looked into fonts, what we need them to do, and the role that they play within the design and functionality of our websites. We also saw how to install and customize them for WordPress websites using Elementor. And as always, if you have any advice, tips, or insight that could help other users, please share it in the comments below. And if you have any criticisms, we are equally interested in your thoughts. And this is because we consider you, the viewers and community members, to be a valid part of the journey that we set out on with each Monday Masterclass. And if you've enjoyed our new documentary style of the Monday Masterclass and you'd like to see more, make sure that you click on the subscribe button and tap that bell so that you don't miss out on our next Monday Masterclass. After all, our goal is to be the best at helping others excel in their craft. Thanks for watching. Cheers.